Okay, hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Aphrodite, and if you're new here, this is Aphrodite's house. Kind of a different sort of setup today. Well, actually, I should say one of the original setups, because originally I filmed my videos this way, but then thought that getting the wider view was going to be better, and I don't know, I just couldn't navigate it. I didn't really care for it. I didn't think it fit me, but also I just burned myself like an idiot, but also I realized that it might have been the glasses. I have multiple pairs of glasses, and those black ones are like super round. So I'm wondering if maybe like the round ones just don't frame my face as good. With that being said, I have my mic again. Um, Let me adjust it. I have my mic, and so hopefully my voice sounds clear. But if you do hear some humming, it would be my air conditioner. Look, for those of you who are new here, Moldavite kickstarted my health and fitness journey, and let's just be real, I was not kind to myself. I went through a lot of depressive phases, a lot of ED phases, eating for the sake of eating, not understanding why, then having an unhealthy relationship with food. So it it was no surprise to me that I wasn't handling the heat well. I was having all sorts of heat strokes and just not vibing with heat, and it happens. But I'm getting it together, and things are getting fixed, so that's good. So today's video is actually going to start off with a Moldavite update, and then the next couple videos that I'm posting will be update videos based off of your zodiac sign, but I'm only going to break it down into 4 categories. So it's going to be, so the order in which my guides want me to film things is fire signs, water signs, air signs, and then earth signs last. So I don't think it'll all be over the course of one day. I think I'll spread out filming between today and tomorrow. But for now, let's just get started. So again, welcome. If you're new here, my name is Aphrodite, and this is Aphrodite's house. For those of you who are returning, welcome back home. Let's talk about it. Moldavite. My Moldavite update as of recently is that for those of you who might be new here, Moldavite kicked off my journey to working with Thoth as well, which has been absolutely amazing. This past weekend, Thoth and my Moldavite, which kind of went Thoth was around before I got my Moldavite. Thoth was around when I got my Malachite, but I wasn't officially working with Thoth. I was taking guidance from Thoth, but there was no like working relationship. I did not claim him as my father, as my spiritual father. I did not wish to do too much. I really like to be sort of free when it comes to my spirituality, just because I am very tapped into previous past life experiences. So I'm very in tune with a bunch of different deities who I had previous relationships with in previous lifetimes. And so I try to keep those not necessarily going, but keeping them fresh, keeping them alive in this lifetime too. And so working with Thoth was more along the lines of, well, I'm aware that I have a relationship with you. Let's keep it going. Let's keep it fresh. And then I got my Moldavite, and it was like, no, you have to actually work with Thoth. And so that was great. So this past weekend, Thoth actually had me give away my Malachite, which is interesting because I never thought I would part with my Malachite. But surprise, surprise, I did. And the Malachite went to my boyfriend. So he is clearly going to be going through some interesting life changes in general, some upgrades in his life, and I'm sure my spirit team thought that the Malachite would be good for maintaining some of that maybe more negative, stressful energy that he feels as he goes through some of the turbulence and just tries to figure it all out, which is fine. I was just really shocked when I wore my Malachite and then they said, give him the Malachite. And I was like, what? give him my malachite, but it's mine. And they were like, nope, give it. So I definitely gave it. I definitely gave my malachite. So I don't think he's watching this video. I don't think he watches my videos. I'm not too sure. But if you're watching this, then you're divinely protected. Hi, hello, you're divinely protected. My guides, your guides, and everything in between, in terms of our spirit teams, have already coordinated this, dictated this. You are divinely protected. Don't worry. I say a prayer for you every day. You're good. We're good. Everything's good. The other thing is Moldavite is doing its thing where it's redirecting and shifting my life all over again. Not in terms of negativity and abruptness and really just harshness. It's more along the lines of affirming what we already thought I needed to do. So this would be giving me a blessing and then helping me figure out a plan to maintain the blessing. So, for example, I have had a lot of problems with money. A lot of you know that using my Moldavite, working within it, listening to what it had to say, following its guidance, I boosted my credit score, right? Which was great, but I couldn't quite figure out how to maintain where it was, because, you know, you need to stay in that 35% and blah, 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 blah. But, you know, when you're a work from home mother and you run your own business and everything is kind of based off of audience and how we interact, or like the bookings that I receive and things like that, doing readings or making candles and doing rituals for everyone, it's really like sometimes you have a good month and sometimes you have a bad month, just like any artist, just like any individual who works for themselves, right? So you never know when you're going to run up that credit limit, right? Which lowers your credit score. Moldavite is now putting me in a position where it's teaching me to get a good credit score and maintain it. That, you know, the example always being me, because I would never give you guys advice on something that I didn't practice myself or have experience in myself. It just makes no sense. I would definitely say Moldavite is a beautiful teacher and an even better teacher for teachers themselves, because we get so humbled so easily, especially when we're so firm in doing things one way spiritually, because that's what we were raised on. And then Moldavite kind of comes in and shows us a totally different perspective that maybe we dismissed earlier on because it wasn't what we were raised on. But it turns out that this works better for us, not just in terms of ease and integrating it into our lives, but more along the lines of spiritually. So maybe in your astrological chart or your human design chart, there's a lot more hints and tools there as to why this particular method works a little bit better for you as opposed to what you're used to. And I definitely feel like Moldavite is a good teacher for that. It's a very, very good teacher for that. So as of recently, it's definitely been handing me my ass in terms of helping me figure out how to maintain the blessings that I've received, including the people in my life. I do count everyone who enters into my life to be a blessing, even if they're a lesson. It's been teaching me a lot more about my negative patterns and how to stop these things. It's been coaching me a lot on noticing frequency shift and timeline shifts, and whether or not I'm where I started or if I'm somewhere completely new. It's been a totally beautiful ride. I would have to say that my relationship with my Moldavite has grown so much that I don't necessarily need to wear her. She sits over here. I have a spot over here where she sits, and just the energy in this room is usually like get down to business. As you can see by the white sort of clothy backdrop, I do a lot of my work in my room, so photo stuff, video stuff, anything like that for TikTok, Twitter, Instagram. I do it all in this room, and I have a few of my deities who are very into the arts, who are very into aesthetically pleasing makeup-y type things. So I'm really tapped in when I sit and do my makeup. I'm really tapped in when I set up for this shoot. I'm really just divinely tapped in. And that's kind of why I try to keep everything to this one room. Because once I leave, I kind of need a break from being so immersed in everything spiritual all the time. And Moldavite is teaching me that too, about when it's okay to take a break. Not a break from spirituality, but just a break from, excuse me, oh, a lot of energy. Just a break from needing to be so tapped in all the time. It's good to get out. It's good to touch some grass. It's good to not be in this room all the time and around all of my artifacts and my deities and all that good stuff. The dynamics in my friendships have sort of changed as well. I've noticed I don't feel the need to spend as much time with my friends, and this isn't because I don't love them to death and want to spend every moment with them. It's more along the lines of I have work to do and I can't afford to continue to be distracted. I've allowed myself to be distracted for too long. I come up with all these great ideas, I write down all the information, and then have no possible way of figuring out how to execute them properly because I was more focused on coming up with these different designs and things like that with my friends. Moldavite has whipped me into shape. I am completely changing the way that I do things and redirecting things. I will say, for those of you who have been interested in learning with me or from me, I am working on building a curriculum around all things just spiritual. Anything involving alchemy, anything involving extended information on things like astral travel, on things like the things that I've seen here and not here, and the different dimensions, the different timelines, things like that. If you don't believe in these things, I have to tell you, I find it quite interesting that you would work with Moldavite, which is a tektite from space. Because the minute I got that Moldavite, I was greeted by some very interesting beings who I was not expecting, but it was to be expected, as you'd think, because it came from space. It's just, it was so fitting. So buckle up for that one, especially if you're one of those, I'll believe it when I see it. Oh, you'll see it. Oh, you'll see it. Especially if you have the tendency to lucid dream or just become aware after you've managed to leave your body. Some people are not aware of the experience of getting out of their body, but more so the experience of just being out of it. It happens. If that's the case for you, be expected to be greeted, because that's what happened to me. I woke up, right? And I was like, huh, okay, out of body, fine, whatever, kind of used to this. Being right in my fucking face. Just, hi, hello, how are you? When I tell you I woke myself up from waking up, I was like, oh no, not today, goodbye. Now I think it's funny, and I would love to have another experience like that again, just to reiterate what I saw that day, that night, if you will. But it was just so fascinating to me. Moldavite will open so many crazy, wacky doors for you, which is why in one of the first videos I posted, I said give it some time, like leave it outside your room before you have it inside your room, because I jumped and had it inside my room, and definitely paid the price for having it inside my room after it was highly suggested to leave it outside my room first, and I was like, nah, I'll be fine. All the experiences I've had, I'll be good. Yeah, no, it was a wild ride. It was definitely a wild ride. So, yeah, my update is pretty much that. Moldavite is helping me to update my curriculum, to sharpen things up, to bring my many, many, many ideas to fruition in one way so that it's easier than everything else. I'm still working on the spiritual community center for people of color. All of the links and everything to donate to that if you're interested are in the description box. It's really important to me to create a safe space. What is likely going to end up happening, though, is that the massive community center will wait, and I will start off with a small storefront where I will work with individuals and we will talk about their spiritual goals. I will help dictate plans with them and for them, books that they should read, beginner decks or things like that, just to really create a safe space for them to start and to understand that, okay, you might start here, but I might not be your mentor full time. There might be someone else down the line, and so here's what we're going to start with. Here's the potential things you might run into, the potential people you might run into, and here's what you can do and should do for the sake of your growth. And we will just keep going from there and keep growing from there and seeing what's happening. So once that finally happens, it's going to be so life-changing for everyone within the community, because I have yet to see an actual center that's based on the spiritual needs of those of people of color, unless you specifically go to an African shop, which those are absolutely beautiful. I used to love to go to them as a kid. In between my micro braids braiding session, I would go in and touch all the statues, obviously. But I think that if you don't have access to that, or because they wouldn't necessarily be on maps, some of them would be really underground, or you'd have to know somebody, or you'd have to drive by it. This would be one of those things that's on the map and is helpful and could possibly even just bring more communities together, especially if someone goes, oh, there's this shop over here, and then coordinating and meeting and just good vibes all around. That's what I desire. Safe space and good vibes all around. June has been so amazing to me. It's been so beautiful. I feel so blessed. It's only the middle of the month, but we're here, we're doing it, we're surviving, and we're happy. We're surviving and thriving, and it's been a minute since I've been able to say that, but I definitely think I've reached a stage in my growth and healing process where I'm able to appreciate life more and appreciate those around me a lot more as well. So it's definitely been less moments of, I really want to, not exist today, and more of, wow, I can't wait to see what I come up with today. And my friends and I would do that as a joke, like, oh, I kind of want to, but I'm doing it anyway, and now I'm like, I'm not even going to speak that, because I'm so happy to be here, to just be here, that I don't even feel comfortable making that kind of joke anymore. And I made that joke as a coping mechanism. This is in no way saying that I poke fun of things like that. Believe me when I say I've gone through my fair share of being sent to that top floor, okay? To make sure that I'm okay, and that when I go home, I'll be okay. So this is more like a coping mechanism. Like, I struggle with life consistently mentally, but I've been having so much mental clarity that I haven't been feeling that. And I can't say whether or not if that's the Moldavite, but I will say that because Moldavite kickstarted my health and fitness journey, I do believe that my mindset shifted a lot. Excuse me, a lot of energy, my goodness. Moldavite shifted my thoughts, my reality, the way that I do things and the way that I process things, especially in my health. And when I started being kinder to my body, when I started taking better care of my body, I started getting more energetic downloads. I started to be able to understand and process things a lot differently. And my mind didn't seem as foggy. It didn't seem as clustered or crowded. It seemed smooth. It seemed easy. It seemed fun again. And so I'm really just extremely grateful for that. So thank you for coming to watch my update video. It's about 20 minutes, so not as long as I would have thought it would have been, but also this was kind of a breeze. This was a lot more comfortable. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Be sure to subscribe. That's how I know you like the content. because I get really discouraged when I get views but then I don't get any likes or any commentary, just because I never know if you guys actually like this or if you guys click it and then like 5 minutes in you're like, this just isn't my cup of tea, and that's fine too. It is what it is, but I would like to thank you so much for giving me part of your time, for listening to me, for trusting me to give you these updates, this information, and just for allowing me to help you understand the beauty of growth and change and even the destruction of some things. And yeah, that's what I've got for you. And I hope you have a great day wherever you are, and I hope you stay happy and you keep thriving instead of just, surviving, and you're content with life. And I will see you in the next video.